Thank you very much. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you all are. You see that I have this background today. I do this because mentally I want to be in this space. And my friend Lance has taught me to think of my space and my life as a created performance. And I've decided to lean into that today. It is good to see you, cousin, um, here today. I also do this because I just got a text from my wife who is in a gondola in Venice with her mother while I am here working to pay for that stuff. So this is my spring break while she is having hers. The title I chose today for the reflection is Discerning True Allies, Lessons from Job and Jonathan, or Finding Teammates Who May Wear a Different Uniform. Now, when Job's three friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place: Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, Zophar the Naamathite, for they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. Job 2:11. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul. And Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David, and gave his garments, even to his sword, and to his bow, and to his girdle. 1 Samuel 18:3 and 4. Family, as we gather in the spirit of reflection and unity, I invite you to join me in exploring the complex tapestry of friendship and allyship, guided by the wisdom of our faith and the lessons of our own lives. I come today with two stories of my own, each featuring a friend whose actions and character have left a mark on my understanding of what it means to be an ally. Both of these friends are men who are white, powerful, wealthy, yet their responses to trials faced by our community and by me personally could not have been more different. The first story is of someone I have known for more than 3 decades, a colleague in the field of education with whom I have collaborated closely, with whom I have done business. When a groundbreaking appointment was made recently, placing a highly qualified Haitian American woman at the helm of my alma mater, Harvard University, my friend's response was not one of support, but of criticism. He questioned her credentials, implied that her selection was itself an act of racism, and celebrated the end of her tenure as a victory for, quote, common sense over wokeness. He shared those words not only with the world, but sent them directly to me as a part of an email chain that went out to people who participate in a very important annual education conference of which he is a co-founder. And it provided for me a very painful reminder that the appearance of allyship can be deceiving. In contrast, my second story involves another friend who, in the face of his own mortality, chose to focus on the empowerment and success of the young African-American leaders he had mentored. This man is a very successful venture capitalist in the education industry, whom I have known for much less time than I have known the first friend. He had faced a devastating health diagnosis for pancreatic cancer, as he put it, exactly the same illness that Steve Jobs had. Now, unlike Steve Jobs, as he said, he did not starve himself to death, but aggressively took on the cancer, and for the moment, he is winning that battle. Yet, even in his moment of personal crisis, his thoughts were not for himself, but for the two young Black partners, a woman in her mid-30s and a man in his early 40s, both friends of mine, whom he had brought into his firm. Now, some of us know enough about the venture capital business to really appreciate what I'm about to say. He not only recruited them, but shared his carry with them in the fund that they were initially hired into. Now, carry is his percentage of the profits generated by the fund they had raised. So this man literally took money out of his pocket to empower two young African Americans to make sure that, along with some of his carry, they had the authority to speak within that fund. And he's raising another fund with the two of them at the forefront in an even more prominent position, and they will have even more carry. He came to me asking that I continue to guide and support them, even if he is not here in the near future to do that. Brethren, these stories call to mind the biblical narratives of Job and David, each of whom faced trials that tested the mettle of their friendships. In the book of Job, we witness the arrival of Job's three friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, who come to comfort him in the times of his legendary and unimaginable suffering. Yet as the story unfolds in the book of Job, their initial intentions to comfort him give way to really harsh criticism and judgment, revealing the shallow nature of their support. They accuse Job of bringing his misfortunes upon himself. They accuse him of failing to recognize the depth of his faith and the mystery of God's plan. In the other story in the text today, there's a stark contrast. David and Jonathan and their friendship stand as an example of true allyship. Jonathan was the son of King Saul, who risked his own position and safety to protect and support a young outsider named David, whom he loves as his own soul. In a powerful act of covenant making, Jonathan gives David his robe, his garments, his sword, his girdle, his bow, symbolizing the depth of commitment and the sacrificial nature of this love. Through these stories, I am reminded that true friendship and allyship are not fair weather companions, but steadfast anchors in the storms of life. As we reflect on these stories, both the ancient ones and the contemporary ones, let us consider what they teach us about discerning true allies in our own lives. In a world where the very fabric of our community is under attack, where the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion are met with hostility, derision, and attack, we must be vigilant in assessing the character of those who stand with us, or at least who claim to stand with us. True allies, like Jonathan, are those who are willing to put aside their own interests for the sake of our collective empowerment. They use their privilege and resources to uplift and amplify our voices, even when doing so comes at a personal cost. They stand with us in the face of adversity, offering not just words of comfort, but tangible acts of support and solidarity. In contrast, some allies, like Job's friends, may offer surface-level support, but quickly reveal their true colors when our struggle becomes uncomfortable or inconvenient. They question our qualifications, dismiss our experiences, and even celebrate our setbacks, even all the while claiming to have our backs. Family, as we navigate these challenging times, I urge you to look beyond the uniforms of supposed allyship and discern the true fabric of those who claim to stand with us. Seek out and cherish those relationships that are built on a foundation of mutual respect, empathy, and a shared commitment to justice. And when you encounter those whose support proves to be false, have the courage to call them out and hold them accountable. as Job did with his friends. Remember that true allyship is not about perfection, but about a willingness to learn, to grow, to stand with us in the face of adversity. It is about recognizing that our struggles are interconnected and our liberation is bound up in the liberation of all people. As we move forward, let's draw strength from the examples of those like Jonathan, like my friend, who have shown us what true friendship and allyship look like. Let us work to build a world where the bonds of solidarity and support transcend race and class and privilege, and where we can stand together in the coming fight for justice, equity, and human dignity. Many of the stories of our own lives and the wisdom of our faith guide us in discerning the true fabric of those who stand with us beyond the uniform of superficial support. And may we in turn strive to be the kind of allies and friends that our community and our world so desperately need. As we conclude our reflection on the lessons of Job and Jonathan and the true nature of allyship, let us join together in a shared affirmation of our commitment to discerning and being steadfast allies in the struggle for justice and equality. As you can, please stand with me. We affirm that true allyship is a sacred bond rooted in love, empathy, and a shared commitment to uplift the marginalized and oppressed. We acknowledge that as African Americans who identify as men and those who identify otherwise, we are called to be both discerning in recognizing genuine allies and unwavering in our support of those who stand with us in the face of adversity. We recognize that our struggles are interconnected with those of other marginalized communities, and we pledge to extend the same loyalty and sacrificial love that Jonathan showed David to our brothers and our sisters in the LGBTQ plus community, particularly those who are gay and transgender. We understand that true allyship demands more than mere words of support. It requires us to put aside our own comfort and privilege to amplify the voices and experiences of those who have been silenced and oppressed. We commit to being allies who stand firm in the face of criticism and opposition, who are willing to risk our own status, our own safety, to protect and empower those who are vulnerable and marginalized. We affirm that by embodying the spirit of Jonathan's love and loyalty, we can build a world where the bonds of solidarity and support transcend the boundaries of race, gender, sexuality, and privilege. Together, let us go forth from this space with renewed purpose, commitment, seeking out true allies and being true allies in the ongoing struggle for justice, equity, and human dignity. May the wisdom of our ancestors, the strength of our community, and the love of the divine guide us in this sacred work. If you agree with me in these intentions, signify that by saying with me, Amen, Ashe, Namaste. Thank you.
Amen.
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 Man.
Amen. Ashe.